Okay, I have logged on to Eduphoria and I've logged on to Strive to look at my T-test goals. And so I'm on the personal view. It's over here in the left-hand corner. You can see settings and do different things, but we're going to focus on this right now. And here's your goals. So as I look at my goals, I'm going to look, this one is my most recent one, to create the curriculum, including lessons and sequencing for each of the 3 classes that I teach. Well, we need to change this because I now teach only 2 because we took out the 21st century skills and we adjusted it and added some of that same material to Intro to Technology. So I'm going to just take that one out altogether. Now, obviously, my completion date is way off. And so I want to go, and I'm going to go ahead and fix this to be, we'll just say June 3rd of 2019. So when you create a goal, goals have to be measurable. And so as far as to be able to tell something that's measurable for me, as I'm creating these lessons, I want my lessons to have the TEKS attached. All middle school technology application TEKS will be covered. That's my goal in Intro to Technology. And then I'm going to take out this word here with 21st century skills. So I did specify that robotics will be only using a few of the technology TEKS just because it's kind of a more specialized class. So as I scroll down the page, I can see that I need to set up standards and tags. Now this is using a goal that I already have in there. I was able to edit it and add it. This is where I'm using that one. So I pick certain things here, and I can go on to messages, and I can even add evidence. As you can see, my actions, some of the things that I've said, to accurately attach TEKS and ELPs to each lessons in the class. That's one of my goals this year, just because I've never, as I've been creating these lessons, I've put TEKS, but I haven't put ELPs, and so I want to get better about that. Another thing, create scope and sequence for each class that can be adapted as needed in the future. And then to begin creating specific lessons within scope and sequence, including materials, lesson goals, assessment ideas, TEKS, and ELPs. So I'm being a little bit more specific on each one. And so this is my additional action. So whenever I finish doing this, now this is one of my old goals, or this is my new goal. So I'm going to save it and I can submit it for approval. You also, and so yes, I want to submit this goal for approval. Now, if you are starting fresh and you want to use a goal from last year, and you want to adjust it, copy the new goal to a new year, and that's where that would create. Now I'm going to delete that for me so that it's not stuck on there. But if you are starting a new one, you want to go to that plus sign, and here is where we would start fresh. So what is your goal? What is it that you can do that you want to get better at that can be measured? And that's the major thing, is it has to be measurable and obtainable, of course, because we don't want it to set a goal that's way too high. Like I said, for me, I'm teaching a new material and there's not material to teach, so I'm having to create it, and so that's my goal, is to get better at that. And so how will it look like that you know you've accomplished? So it kind of gives you some specifics. Picking your standards, you don't need to go overboard. It does need to hit all of them, but you do need to pick them. And your goal setting can be different as far as communication with parents, getting better about sending out reminds, or even messages on Skyward, all of those kind of things. I mean, those can be measured. How many times you're sending out those messages, how frequently did you stick with it? Same thing as far as content knowledge and expertise, and maybe going to, if it's a new thing for you, maybe going to a new workshop learning more material to help you with a new subject. All of these things, professional demeanor and ethics, there are ways of making those measurable. And then what tasks are required. If you're wanting to increase your knowledge of your content and expertise, then you could, maybe the task would be to finding workshops that go along with it, asking for help in those areas. But either way, once you finish that, you hit save and it goes back to the page that mine was just on. So I'm going to X out of this. And so you would see it back up here. And so that is how you submit your goal. Once again, up here at the top, if you have not submitted it, it will say it up here, submit for approval. And then you would be done.